In the heart of the Caribbean, there is an island that breathes with the rhythm of the ocean. It is a place born of ancient volcanoes and shaped by the steady, invisible hand of the trade winds, a land where the boundary between the sea and the shore is the beginning of a story. This is not just a destination of turquoise water and white sand, easily captured in a photograph. It is a land of profound complexity, of deep-rooted identity, and of a daily life that is constantly negotiated with the forces of nature. This is Puerto Rico. From the air, it is an emerald jewel set in a vast expanse of blue. Its coastline is a fringe of brilliant beaches and rugged, wave-battered cliffs, and its interior is a spine of mountains draped in a dense, tropical green. The quality of the light here is different, a sharp, brilliant clarity that intensifies every color, from the pastel facades of old San Juan to the deep, impossible green of the El Yunque rainforest. It is a light that seems to reveal everything, yet the island's true character lies in what is not immediately visible. To truly understand this place, one must look beyond the scenery and listen to the quiet rhythms of life, a life lived in a state of beautiful, challenging, and permanent isolation. This is the story of what it means to call a small island in a vast ocean home. The first thing you notice upon arrival, the first true introduction to the island, is the air. It is a constant warm embrace, thick with the scent of salt, carried from the sea, and the sweet, heavy fragrance of tropical flowers like the hibiscus and frangipani. Even in the pre-dawn coolness, the humidity is a tangible presence, a soft, invisible weight that settles on the skin and dampens the clothes. This is the breath of the island, a humid, life-giving atmosphere that dictates the pace of the day, encouraging a slower, more deliberate way of moving. Mornings begin, not with a crisp chill, but with a gentle, pervasive warmth that promises the intensity of the midday sun. The island wakes to a symphony of its own, a soundscape unique to this corner of the world. In the mountains, the mist that has pooled in the valleys overnight begins to burn off, slowly revealing a world of impossible green. In the coastal towns, the first sound is the gentle, rhythmic wash of waves against the shore, a constant soothing reminder of the ocean's inescapable presence. As the sun climbs, the trade winds begin their daily journey from the northeast, moving through the fronds of the palm trees with a sound like a long, slow whisper. This wind is the island's natural air conditioner, a vital and welcome relief from the building heat, a force so constant that the very trees seem to lean away from its path. Life is lived in vibrant color, a visual feast that is a defiant celebration of life. Neighborhoods are a mosaic of homes painted in bright, cheerful hues: sky blue, mango orange, vibrant pink, and lime green, that seem to push back against the bleaching power of the tropical sun. These are not just decorative choices, they are expressions of a resilient and joyful spirit. The natural world is just as vivid. The brilliant red blossoms of the flamboyant trees set the hillsides ablaze in the summer months, while deep purple bougainvillea cascades over garden walls in a riot of color. In the afternoons, the sky puts on a dramatic and predictable display. Towering white cumulus clouds, born from the ocean's moisture, build over the central mountains. Their bases turn a dark, heavy gray, signaling the arrival of the daily rain. They are the carriers of the aguacero, a sudden, intense downpour that can last for minutes or an hour, washing the dust from the leaves and cooling the hot asphalt. The smell that rises from the earth and the streets, a mix of damp soil and hot pavement, is the signature scent of a tropical afternoon. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the rain stops, and the sun returns with renewed intensity, making the whole world glisten. This is the atmosphere of Puerto Rico, a world where the elements are not a backdrop, but an active, constant participant in every moment of every day. To live in Puerto Rico is to live in a state of constant, intimate awareness of the weather. The climate is not a topic of casual conversation. It is the central organizing principle of daily life, an invisible partner in every plan and every decision. The year is divided not into 4 distinct seasons, but into 2. The slightly cooler, drier season from winter to spring, and the hotter, wetter season which stretches through the summer and fall. And this latter season brings with it the ever-present, deeply respected possibility of hurricanes. The daily rain is a dependable ritual, a punctuation mark in the afternoon. It is a sudden, cleansing force that people simply adapt to. Outdoor work pauses. Conversations continue under awnings and covered porches. Drivers slow to a crawl as the roads become temporary rivers and people rush to bring their laundry in from the line. Then, just as quickly, the world re-emerges, glistening and refreshed, the air scrubbed clean. This daily cycle is a small-scale rehearsal for the larger, more serious weather events that define the region. It is the hurricane season, from June to November, that truly shapes the island's psyche. It is a time of collective watchfulness, a period when every resident becomes a lay meteorologist, tracking tropical depressions forming thousands of miles away off the coast of Africa, listening intently to forecasts and discussing the subtle shifts in a storm's projected path. This is a shared, communal anxiety, built on a foundation of shared memory. Everyone has a story of a past storm, of Hurricane Hugo, of Georges, and most recently, the defining, catastrophic event of Hurricane Maria. These are not just weather events. They are generational markers, stories of loss and survival that are passed down and woven into the island's identity. Preparing for a storm is a communal, multi-generational rite. It begins weeks before any specific threat, with the trimming of trees and the clearing of yards. When a storm approaches, the preparations intensify. Homes here are built for this reality, with many featuring solid concrete construction and traditional storm shutters that can be quickly secured, turning a house into a fortress. The days before a potential landfall are filled with a calm, focused energy. There are long, patient lines at the gas station and the hardware store. Grocery store shelves are emptied of water, batteries, canned meats, and crackers. Bathtubs are filled with water for washing, and important documents are sealed in plastic bags. It is a well-practiced, methodical dance of self-reliance. When the storm hits and the power goes out, as it almost always does, the island adapts to a different reality. The roar of the wind becomes the only sound, a terrifying, elemental force that seems to shake the very foundations of the world. Inside, families are thrown back on themselves, cut off from the modern world. Life simplifies. They gather in the safest room of the house, sharing food before it spoils, playing board games by candlelight, and listening to battery-powered radios for news. The aftermath of a major storm reveals the true strength of the community. Before any official help can arrive, neighbors are out with machetes and chainsaws, clearing fallen trees from the roads. They check on the elderly, share the output of a single working generator, and pool their food to cook large communal pots of soup or sancocho over propane stoves. This cycle of preparation, endurance, and recovery is woven into the fabric of Puerto Rican life, fostering a profound resilience and a deep practical understanding of nature's immense power. Away from the cosmopolitan energy of San Juan, the true pace of the island reveals itself in the small coastal towns that dot its shores. Here, life is inextricably tied to the rhythm of the sea. The day begins before sunrise, as small-scale fishermen head out in their boats, their silhouettes dark against the first light of dawn. Their knowledge is not learned from books, but passed down through generations. An intimate understanding of the local currents, the phases of the moon, and the secret places where the fish are plentiful. The harbor is the heart of the town, a place of work, of community, and of quiet contemplation. It is where the day's catch is brought in, cleaned, and sold, often directly to local residents and restaurant owners. The morning routine in these towns is unhurried and deeply social. The local panaderia is the first stop, a place for a strong, sweet cup of coffee and a warm loaf of pan de agua. The conversations are familiar, a gentle exchange of news, jokes, and greetings between people who have known each other their entire lives. After the bakery, the next stop might be the Plaza Publica, the town square. This is the traditional center of life, typically anchored by a Catholic church on one side and the city hall on the other. In the cool of the morning, the elderly gather on the shaded benches to discuss politics and baseball, while parents watch their children chase pigeons across the open space. Life moves at a human pace, dictated by the sun and the heat. The midday hours encourage a slower rhythm, a time for rest or for work in the shade. The streets are a mix of the old and the new, a modern pharmacy next to a family-owned hardware store or ferreteria that has been there for generations. The local economy is built on these small businesses, and on the Colmado, the corner store that functions as a grocery, a bar, and a social club all in one. It is a place where you can run a tab, catch up on the local gossip, and share a cold beer with a neighbor after a long day's work. The soundscape is one of local life. The distant crow of a rooster, the rhythm of salsa music drifting from an open doorway, the laughter of children playing in a schoolyard. This is a life lived outside of the tourist brochures, a world of simple, dependable routines that are anchored in a deep sense of place and a powerful connection to the sea. To live on an island is to have a fundamentally different relationship with the world. The ocean is not just a feature of the landscape. It is a constant, defining presence. It is a source of immense beauty, of sustenance, and of recreation. But it is also a vast blue wall that separates you from the rest of the world. This feeling of isolation, known as insularismo, is a subtle but powerful undercurrent in the Puerto Rican psyche. It fosters a strong sense of self-reliance and a fierce local identity, a feeling of us here on the island versus the outside world. This physical reality is most tangible in the island's dependence on imports. Nearly everything, from cars and electronics to the majority of the food in the grocery stores arrives on massive container ships that are the island's lifeline. This reliance creates a sense of vulnerability. A storm at sea, a shipping delay, or a labor dispute thousands of miles away can have a direct and immediate impact on daily life, leading to empty shelves and rising prices. This economic reality is often referred to colloquially as the Puerto Rico tax, a recognition of the added costs that come with living on an island, costs that are exacerbated by federal shipping laws that limit which vessels can service the island's ports. During storms, the ocean's power is awesome and terrifying. The gentle waves of a calm day can transform into a churning, destructive force, reshaping coastlines and reminding everyone of the island's fragility. Yet, the sea also connects. For the communities on the outer islands of Vieques and Culebra, the ferry is an essential link to the main island. It is their highway, their ambulance, their school bus. Their daily life is governed by its schedule, and their sense of isolation is even more profound, a feeling of being islanders within an island nation. The ocean is a paradox. It is the thing that defines their separation, but it is also the medium that binds all island communities together, a shared frontier that every resident understands in their bones. It is both a barrier and a bridge, a source of peril and a source of profound, soul-stirring beauty. The warmth of the climate shapes the very structure of home life. Houses in Puerto Rico are designed to breathe, to catch the breeze, and offer refuge from the sun. Traditional architecture often features high ceilings that allow hot air to rise and floors of cool tile or polished terrazzo. Windows are large and often left open, protected by screens and decorative ironwork, or rejas, allowing the sounds and scents of the neighborhood to drift in and become part of the domestic atmosphere. The whir of a fan, either from the ceiling or a standing unit in the corner, is a constant soothing soundtrack to domestic life, a sound so common it is barely noticed. The home is the undisputed center of the social universe, a place of constant, informal gathering. The porch, or balcon, and the carport, or marquesina, are essential living spaces. They are a bridge between the private home and the public street, a place to watch the world go by, to chat with neighbors over the fence, and to catch the cooler evening air. Family dinners are a cornerstone of the week, a time for connection and for sharing the day's stories over a home-cooked meal. The kitchen is the heart of the home, the domain of the mother or grandmother, a place of warmth and incredible aromas. The sizzle of sofrito hitting a hot pan, the bubbling pot of rice and beans, the rhythmic sound of a pestle mashing plantains for mofongo, these are the sensory anchors of family life. After dinner, the evening might be spent together in the living room, or more often, it will spill back out into the open air. On the porch or in the carport, a folding table is set up for a passionate game of dominoes. This is not a quiet pastime. It is a loud, strategic, and highly social ritual, punctuated by the sharp slap of the tiles on the table, by shouts of victory, and by friendly, spirited arguments. Music is ever present, drifting from a neighbor's radio or a car passing by, weaving itself into the fabric of the evening. This is a life lived with a casual intimacy, where the warmth of the community is as palpable as the warmth of the air. For its small size, Puerto Rico contains a world of breathtaking natural diversity. To travel the island is to move through a series of distinct and beautiful ecosystems in a remarkably short amount of time. The journey often begins on the coast, on beaches that range from the golden, surf-pounded sands of the north and west to the calm, turquoise waters of the south and the black, volcanic sands of the southeast. Driving inland, the roads begin to climb into the Cordillera Central, the island's mountainous spine. Here, the air cools and the landscape transforms into a tapestry of steep, green hillsides, small coffee farms, and communities that feel a world away from the coast. This is the Campo, the countryside, the heart of the island, a place of deep tradition and quiet, profound beauty. In the northeast lies El Yunque, the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System. It is a world of perpetual dampness and vibrant life, a dense canopy of green, filled with the sound of cascading waterfalls and the constant two-note call of the native coqui frog. The heavy, rain-filled clouds that form over these peaks are the lifeblood of the island, feeding the rivers that flow down to the sea. In stark contrast, the southwest is home to the Guanica Dry Forest, a United Nations biosphere reserve. Here, under a hotter, more intense sun, the landscape is one of cacti, scrubland, and twisted, drought-resistant trees. In the north, a unique karst region of dramatic limestone hills, or mogotes, rises from the flat coastal plains like giant green haystacks. This otherworldly landscape hides one of the world's largest cave systems. This incredible variety, packed into an island just 100 miles long, is a source of immense pride. It is also the island's playground. Weekends are for exploring, hiking to a hidden waterfall, finding a secluded beach, or taking a scenic drive through the mountains, stopping at a roadside stand for fresh fruit or a cold coconut water. This deep, daily interaction with nature is not a hobby, it is a fundamental part of being Puerto Rican. As dusk settles over Puerto Rico, the island transforms. The intense heat of the day dissipates, leaving behind a soft, warm, and fragrant air. This is when the island's true soundtrack begins, the high-pitched, melodic chorus of the coqui. According to Taino legend, the tiny tree frog was a gift from the gods, and its call is a promise that the island is safe. It is a sound so ubiquitous, so deeply tied to the identity of the place, that for Puerto Ricans, whether on the island or living far away, it is the sound of home itself. The night is alive with the hum and buzz of insects, a constant, gentle symphony. After a rainstorm, the air is thick with the smell of damp earth, wet asphalt, and night-blooming jasmine. On a clear night, away from the city lights, the sky is a brilliant, dizzying canopy of stars. During a power outage, or apagon, this celestial display is even more spectacular, a humbling and beautiful reminder of the world beyond the island. Evenings are a time for community. People gather on their porches, the soft glow of a single light bulb illuminating their faces as they talk and laugh. The sounds of conversation mix with the music from a nearby home and the ever-present chorus of the frogs. On weekends, many partake in the tradition of chinchorreo, a leisurely road trip, often through the mountains, hopping between small, rustic roadside bars and eateries known as chinchorros. It is a journey of food, music, and friends, a celebration of the simple pleasures of island life. The nights in Puerto Rico are not silent. They are filled with the gentle, living sounds of a community and an ecosystem at peace, a shared experience under a warm, tropical sky. This life of warmth and beauty is inextricably linked to a set of profound and persistent challenges. The very isolation that creates its unique culture also creates its greatest vulnerabilities. The island's electrical grid is notoriously fragile, a complex and aging system that is susceptible to frequent outages. These apagonies are a frustratingly regular part of daily life, disrupting work, school, and the simple comforts of home. The reliance on imported goods means the cost of living is high. A gallon of milk, a car, or building materials all carry the added expense of a long journey across the ocean. This economic pressure is a constant source of stress for many families and contributes to one of the island's most painful realities, the brain drain. For generations, young, educated Puerto Ricans have left the island for the mainland United States in search of opportunities that are scarce at home, creating a diaspora of millions who remain deeply connected to an island they can no longer live on. Looming over everything is the annual threat of hurricanes. The memory of devastating storms is etched into the collective consciousness, a powerful reminder of the island's exposure to the raw power of nature. And underlying many of these practical issues is the unresolved and deeply divisive question of the island's political status. The debate over statehood, independence, or the current Commonwealth status is a constant undercurrent in public life, a source of passionate argument that touches everything from economic policy to cultural identity. These are not temporary problems. They are the fundamental enduring conditions of island life. Yet it is in confronting these challenges that the true character of the people is revealed. A spirit of resourcefulness, mutual support, and an unyielding resilience. In a world of global mobility, where opportunities often lie elsewhere, the question arises, why do people stay? And why do so many who leave dream of one day returning? The answer is not found in economics or convenience. It is found in the heart, in a web of connections that are as strong as they are invisible. People stay for the unbreakable bonds of family, for a social fabric so tightly woven that no one ever feels truly alone, for the comfort of knowing that in a time of crisis, your neighbors will be there before anyone else. They stay for the profound, unshakable sense of belonging to a place, a culture, and a people. They stay for the identity of being Boricua, a term of pride that encompasses a shared history of survival, a unique musical dialect of Spanish, and a resilient, creative spirit. They stay for the slower pace of life, for the warmth that exists not just in the climate, but in the daily interactions between people. The easy smile, the casual greeting, the spontaneous invitation. And above all, they stay for a deep, spiritual connection to the land and the sea itself. This is not just a place they live. It is a part of who they are. The landscape is etched into their memory. The sound of the coquille is in their soul, and the rhythm of the ocean is in their blood. They stay for the sensory anchors of home, the taste of a ripe mango picked from a backyard tree, the smell of the earth after a rainstorm, the feeling of the warm Caribbean water. It is an emotional attachment that outweighs the daily struggles, a feeling of home that is powerful, profound, and irreplaceable. Life in Puerto Rico is a delicate and constant dance with the elements. It is a place shaped by the power of the tropical sun, the force of the ocean, and the beautiful, challenging reality of isolation. Here, the rhythm of life is not imposed by the clock, but is guided by the steady turning of the seasons, the daily arrival of the rain, and the constant presence of the sea. It is a living testament to the strength of community, the endurance of culture, and the deep human need for a place to call home. In this small corner of the Caribbean, the storms will always come, the challenges will persist, but the warmth, the music, and the unbreakable spirit of the island will always remain.